Chelsea dressing room split over incredible KEPA ARRIZABALAGA and Maurizio Sarri bus up. The Stamford Bridge club had said they would not punish Arrizabalaga despite the Spaniards' public humiliation of Sarri at Wembley, but he was fined 1 week's wages on Monday night by the club. And Sarri, who had a heart-to-heart meeting with the Spanish goalkeeper in the dressing rooms at Wembley on Sunday, is now ready to play Arrizabalaga in one of the most crucial games of his reign, against Tottenham at Stamford Bridge tomorrow night. Arrizabalaga refused to be substituted by Sarri in extra time at Wembley, sparking fury from the Italian on the touchline, as the goalkeeper ignored orders to come off the field just before the penalty shootout, with no Tuili Caballero stripped and ready to come on. Sarri, who threw his notebook down and at one point stormed off down the tunnel, had to be held back from confronting Arrizabalaga, who had twice gone down injured during the game, before the shootout. Both Sarri and Arrizabalaga tried to play down the incident after the final, though the goalkeeper did not apologize for his actions, which appeared to further reinforce suggestions that the Italian manager does not have the full support of his players. But a source told Express Sport, most of the players are more angry with Arrizabalaga. They thought he was putting himself ahead of the team. It is understood only a couple of the Spanish players in the squad are more understanding of Arrizabalaga's actions. Sarri badly needs a good result against Spurs if Chelsea are to recapture their place in the top 4, which is understood to be crucial to the Italian's future as manager at Stamford Bridge, which is currently hanging by a thread after 6 defeats in their last 12 games. Arrizabalaga and Sarri are both trying to put the incident behind them and said as much in new statements on Monday night, KEPA vowing, "I will learn from this episode." Meanwhile, David Luiz has insisted that players are behind manager Sarri and winning a top 4 place is now the priority. The Brazilian defender was the only Chelsea player to try to persuade rebel goalkeeper KEPA ARRIZABALAGA to obey his manager's instructions and go off the field on Sunday in the extraordinary end to the Carabao Cup final. Completed the first part of a possible quadruple, with Luiz missing his own spot kick. But afterwards the talk was all about towards the end of extra time and Sarri's furious reaction. And crucially, how Arrizabalaga's actions had publicly undermined his under-pressure manager on the day and could crucially affect his future. But Luiz, after a battling Chelsea display that could well have won Sarri his first trophy as a manager, said, "Of course the players are behind the manager. That's why we played an amazing game. We wanted to show that with our performance because he's a great manager, a great person, and he deserves our respect and the respect of everybody. He can lift everyone for the rest of the season, and that's our goal. His is a great philosophy. You have to go a long way to win and be the best team, but to be that you have to try to start, and that's what we are trying to do. There's confidence in the system and that's why we played a great game. Sarri could well have been axed yesterday had Chelsea been humiliated as they were 2 weeks ago at the Etihad by City, when they were thrashed 6-0 in the league. As it was, their performance earned the beleaguered Italian another few days of grace, though a good result against Tottenham in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge tomorrow night is crucial. Luiz said, "After the defeat we had against them we showed character, personality, and in the second half we were the better side. Then it went to penalties and sometimes luck is not on your side. The first thing after the 6-0 defeat was that we had to recognize what we did badly and try to improve. We did that on Sunday. This has been our problem this season, our consistency. We have some great performances like Sunday, and at home against City. It is up to us to find consistency every single match, because on Wednesday we have another tough game and we have to have as high performance as Sundays. Consistency is not just about results, it is consistency to fight in every single match. Sometimes you will win, sometimes you will lose, but sometimes we have conceded goals and lost all our philosophy and ideas. It is up to us to find the balance. Chelsea is a team which should be fighting for the Premier League. Now we are seeing it is far away, so it is not the same mentality. It is up to us to get over this step. This performance shows we can finish the season strongly. You have the Europa League, you have the Premier League to fight until the end to finish in the Champions League positions. We have given an answer after the tough few weeks we've had, because we showed what Chelsea are about: great players, great team. We played against the best team in Europe at the moment and we controlled the second half and could have won. Next news: Chelsea boss Maurizio Sarri had dressing room rant at KEPA ARRIZABALAGA. He said this. That's according to reports from the Sunday. The 60-year-old manager was left humiliated on the touchline and saw his authority at the club questioned after KEPA refused to leave the pitch in the final moments of extra time. Backup keeper Willy Caballero, who spent 3 seasons earlier in his career with City, had stripped off and was ready to be brought on by Sarri, before KEPA refused to leave the pitch and waved off the request, fans and the staff. Chelsea lost in the penalty shootout 4-3, with Raheem Sterling smashing the deciding spot kick into the top corner. After the game, both Sarri and KEPA claimed it was a misunderstanding over whether the keeper was suffering with cramp and confusion as to whether or not he could continue. However, Sarri's behavior in the dressing room paints quite a different picture. First, he screamed at KEPA by telling him it was the striker's job to score and that he had the option to change when misfiring forward for another, a Chelsea source revealed to The Sunday. He went on to say that keepers were in the same position, and if he believed another keeper could do a better job, he had the right to make the change. Late on Monday night, the club announced, which will be donated to the Chelsea Foundation. The shot stopper still insists there was a misunderstanding, but in how he dealt with the situation. I was very happy to play in my first cup final for Chelsea yesterday and very proud of the team performance, he said. I have thought a lot more about yesterday's events. Although there was a misunderstanding, on reflection, I made a big mistake with how I handled the situation. I wanted to take the time today to apologize fully and in person to the coach, to Willy, my teammates and to the club. I have done this and now I want to offer the same apology to the fans. I will learn from this episode and will accept any punishment or discipline the club decides is appropriate. Sarri revealed he had a good conversation with KEPA and has now drawn a line under the event. KEPA and I have spoken about the incident. It was a good conversation, Sarri said. There was a misunderstanding yesterday, but he realizes he made a big mistake in the way he reacted. He has apologized to me, his teammates and the club. It is up to the club if they want to discipline him according to the club rules, but for me this matter is now closed. The team performance as a whole was extremely positive and it is a shame to see how this incident has overshadowed our efforts in what was a very competitive cup final. Everyone's focus is now on the next game and we must all now put this behind us. Next news: KEPA ARRIZABALAGA fined by Chelsea after Carabao Cup bust-up, keeper responds. The 24-year-old was playing in his first competitive final for the Blues against Manchester City at Wembley when he hit the headlines for all the wrong reasons. With just minutes to go at the end of extra time, Maurizio Sarri prepared Willy Caballero to come on as substitute. The youngster had just gone down with cramp, and it appeared that he was unable to continue. However, he refused to come off despite being told to do so by Sarri and assistant manager Gianfranco Zola, while David Luiz had to come over and talk to him. Kepa was seen gesturing at the bench and waving his finger, as he defied his boss's wishes. Sarri was incensed by the move, and slammed a water bottle on his seat before storming down the tunnel. He turned around again, but didn't calm down and continued shouting at the goalkeeper. Chelsea went on to lose the penalty shootout 4-3, as Raheem Sterling hammered the deciding spot kick into the top corner. Afterwards, Sarri insisted that the incident was simply a misunderstanding, and played down the meaning of Kepa's actions. But late on Monday, it was announced by the club that he had been fined a week's wages. In response, Kepa apologized whilst admitting he made a mistake. "I was very happy to play in my first cup final for Chelsea yesterday and very proud of the team performance," he said in a statement. "I have thought a lot more about yesterday's events. Although there was a misunderstanding, on reflection, I made a big mistake with how I handled the situation. I wanted to take the time today to apologize fully and in person to the coach, to Willie, my teammates and to the club. I have done this and now I want to offer the same apology to the fans. I will learn from this episode and will accept any punishment or discipline the club decides is appropriate." Next news: Chelsea boss Maurizio Sarri reveals Kepa Arrizabalaga fine was not his decision. Arrizabalaga has been fined 1 week's wages and will donate the money to the Chelsea Foundation. That comes after bizarre scenes late into extra time in Chelsea's Carabao Cup final defeat to Manchester City, in which the keeper refused to be substituted. The Spaniard had gone to ground moments earlier and appeared to be injured but brushed off the attention of Chelsea medical staff and repeatedly gestured to Sarri that he wanted to play on with backup keeper Willy Caballero ready to replace him. Kepa refused to be withdrawn and the incident ended with Sarri furious on the touchline. The Italian almost walked down the tunnel before the penalty shootout and had to be held back from approaching Arrizabalaga by Antonio Rudiger before the spot kicks. Post-match, Sarri declared it was simply a misunderstanding and that he only wanted to bring Kepa off because of his apparent injury and not because Caballero is known for his penalty-saving heroics. The drama overshadowed what was an improved performance by Chelsea at Wembley at a time when Sarri is under increasing pressure for the club's poor results and performance of late, which included a 6-0 loss to City a fortnight ago. But Sarri insists he had no role in issuing the fine to Kepa and says it was a club decision, while also declaring that the pair have cleared the matter up after private talks. In an official club statement, the manager said, "Kepa and I have spoken about the incident. It was a good conversation. There was a misunderstanding yesterday but he realizes he made a big mistake in the way he reacted. He has apologized to me, his teammates and the club. It is up to the club if they want to discipline him according to the club rules, but for me this matter is now closed. The team performance as a whole was extremely positive and it is a shame to see how this incident has overshadowed our efforts in what was a very competitive cup final. Everyone's focus is now on the next game and we must all now put this behind us." In a statement of his own, Kepa said, "Although there was a misunderstanding, on reflection, I made a big mistake with how I handled the situation. I wanted to take the time today to apologize fully and in person to the coach, to Willie, my teammates and to the club. I have done this and now I want to offer the same apology to the fans. I will learn from this episode and will accept any punishment or discipline the club decides is appropriate." Sarri's comments appear to indicate that Arrizabalaga will keep his starting spot for Chelsea's clash with Tottenham tomorrow, 8 p.m., after calls for Caballero to displace the club's no-one shot stopper. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to share and subscribe to your channel to get the latest sports news around the world. Wished health and success. Goodbye.